My name is Buffy. It's my real name, in case you're curious, because everyone always asks that question. I represent the beautiful East Bay, Oakland, Berkeley, Richmond area. I got a woo. All right, I hear a woo over there. I got elected in 2018, so I've been here. I'm starting my 7th year, and I've been working on really trying to legislation pertaining to keeping our kids safe online since I got here. And I actually worked prior to this for an organization called Common Sense Media, which some of you may have heard of. So I have some familiarity with the issue, and I'm going to gear my remarks towards the teens in the room. First and foremost, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for caring. Thank you for being in this space. You are the most powerful people in this room. So I just want you to understand that power in your advocacy and what you care about. So thank you. And you are the ones who are going to be the change agents in this world. And let me tell you, the grown-ups, we've messed up a lot of things. So, and I put myself in that category. But I have hope and faith because of those of you in this room, and you represent many others out there who care about this world deeply and are engaged in a serious way. So appreciate your advocacy here. You know, I came to this space and work on this issue because I'm a mom. I've got an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old. And I see my 8-year-old, you know, this past year, she asked, number 1 on her Christmas list to Santa was an iPhone 16 Pro. And I said, maybe when you're in college, because I'm going to anchor high on the negotiation, knowing that it's going to be a constant conversation between now and whenever she gets a phone. But, you know, my children are not Luddites. They have tablets. You know, I rely on those when we travel. It's like, I don't know what people did before travel. What did children do? I mean, so, you know, and, you know, we monitor screen time and we do all of these things as responsible parents. But it's a tough, you know, it's a tough battle. It's tougher being a kid right now. You know, growing up now is difficult. Growing up in the world that we live in now is much more difficult, I think, than when, you know, many of us did as well. So, you know, I come to this really with the idea of these products have to be safer for our kids. You know, I'm not a huge fan of the model that says ban all of it, parental controls on everything. I'm more in the camp of this is a consumer product and let's make sure it's safe like a consumer product. And that's essentially what the Age Appropriate Design Code is. That's a bill that I wrote, authored, and got signed into law a couple years ago that basically said, this is a product, if it's likely to be accessed by kids, which are a lot of different products online, it needs to be by design and by default safe for kids. Because we know kids are going to access it. So it should be a safe product. You know, and I equate this similarly to when my daughters were babies. You know, there's federal regulation on the slats, the width of the slats in the crib. They can't be a certain width, right? It's a safety issue. There's federal regulations around child safety seats. I, as a consumer, don't have to go talk to the manufacturer and ask, does this pass all these protocols? I know that it is safe because it is federally regulated as such, right? I know those products are safe. Similarly, I want to know the products that my children are accessing online are safe for kids. And that's essentially what age-appropriate design is. So that's a big piece of legislation I've done. I also have done legislation in the space around child sexual abuse materials and a bunch of other things. And I'm going to be doing more tech regulation again this year. And I will tell you, I have like a frenemy relationship with the tech industry. You know, I have gone to bat against them many, many times. I've also started to see them come to the table in a more serious way over the last couple years. And it's because of people like you in this room who are demanding that change of those companies. That is why they are changing. They are changing because we are demanding that they do that. And the only way that we can do that is if we do that together, is if teens, parents, advocates, and others, and lawmakers do that together. And they're starting to do it, and I appreciate their willingness to come to the table, but the only reason they're doing it is because you all are ensuring that they do that. You know, when I passed Age-Appropriate Design Code, there was a young woman, Emmy, who came and testified in all my hearings. At the time, I think she was 16. So she came and testified, and she was the most powerful messenger I could have on that bill. We would have experts and researchers and academics and politicians and everyone else speaking out about the bill. But the most important voice was hers, because she laid out in stark terms why she wanted the internet to be safer and the experiences that she had as a teen growing up in the world we live in today, and how that was so important. And for me, I really try to ensure that teens are front and center in these conversations as we talk about all the different policy trade-offs we have to make. But to be clear, we need to make sure you all keep the company's feet to the fire, and me, the politician, and my colleagues. I saw Josh Hoover was here earlier. He's a Republican colleague of mine. We sit on the privacy committee. He's a wonderful person. I'm a Democrat. I represent probably the most progressive district in the country, Berkeley, Oakland, Richmond area. I work with Republicans on these issues. To date, this has been bipartisan. I know, it's amazing, right? Actually working with someone from the other party. To date, it has been bipartisan. I don't know if that's going to change with the current federal administration. The tone and tenor has certainly changed in the legislature in the last couple of weeks, but my hope is that we can continue to work on these things in a bipartisan fashion, because all of us on Privacy Committee were parents. We're parents before we're Democrats and Republicans, and that is what really has brought us to the table to want to work collaboratively on these. The companies are coming to the table. That is good. They're not doing enough, in my opinion. They're not doing enough to keep our kids safe, and they need to do more, and it is their responsibility to do more. And I want to work collaboratively with you to demand those changes that we want to see on the internet. I'll also tell you what I've seen happen is, a bill will be introduced. The companies are neutral as individual companies. The trade associations are opposed. The trade associations oppose the bill, hire a bunch of lobbyists, either try to kill the bill, or when it gets signed into law, sue to stop the bill. And the companies can say, but I was neutral. I didn't try to stop any of the regulation. I'm the good guy. When in reality, they fund the trade associations that then go and sue and stop the bill. I've had that experience happen to me. So, we have to make sure we keep pushing the companies. And again, we've seen some positive steps over the past couple years, and I think we will continue to see that. And I'm so happy that there's industry here with teens and advocates and others to have these conversations, because I think the only way that you come up with good policy on this is when people with diverse points of view, with different experiences, different opinions, come to the table to try to really reach something that we think can work for folks. But my main message is just thank you. We have to do this together. I'm so appreciative of all of you in this room today. My door is always open. No matter what your opinion is, my door is always open to hear you out, and to try to craft a better online environment for our kids so that you all are safe from all of the ills. Because there's also things that the great things the internet provides us as well, and connectivity and all of those good things that we want to make sure we can still experience while we guard for the more nefarious aspects. I view my job as a lawmaker, my number one job as a lawmaker is to keep our community safe. That's the number one job. And particularly from my perspective, our kids. And I say that as a mom. So thank you so much for your advocacy. Keep pushing these companies. I will be there side by side with you, working with them, working against them, working in all certain ways, trying to come up with some collaborative approaches that ultimately keep you all safe online. So with that, appreciate you all being here. Thanks so much.